Okay. Hmm. We are live on Facebook. We are live on Facebook. This is very exciting. And please do, as you join, or if you're watching on replay, please come and say hi to Joy and myself as well. And join in the conversation as well. I've been wanting to do this with Joy, the lovely Joy. I've been wanting to do this for months, actually, months. And I've been very patient. So I'm super, super excited to be here. So Jen Taylor's watching. Hello, my love. From the stateside as well, over the pond. Okay, so we're going to be live here for 30 minutes, and this amazing woman who arrived in my life a couple of years ago, just over 2 years ago now, is going to share some of her story with you. And it is truly inspirational. So I'm absolutely delighted that Priestess Joy Schulz is here with us this evening in the UK, and I guess around lunchtime in the US. So, Joy, my lovely, maybe tell people a little bit about yourself and what you do.
Hello, and thank you for having me. I've been excited about this interview. Definitely when you first mentioned it, I was like, but then as I've continued to sit with it, I'm just so excited to be here. I have all the butterflies. So I am Joy Schultz. I am a holistic life coach and card reader, and a priestess and a Reiki master, and all the things. And what I love to do, like my big mission on this earth in this lifetime, is to work with women who know they're meant for more, yet feel buried under all the shoulds and all the conditioning, all the programming that gets put on us from the time we're born, to strip all of that away and to really begin to see how they were designed and how they want to create their life that works according to how they were designed, not according to all the conditioning. And so we do that through card readings, we do that through intuitive mentoring, and we do that through Reiki and crystals, and like it's a whole host of modalities that I have gathered into my big toolbox. And I love working with women in this way because for me, it has been absolutely transformational. Um, I grew up, I'm ADHD autistic, so I've got that. And then I grew up in a super traumatic household. I grew up in the cult of fundamental Christianity. And that has shaped who I am in this lifetime, but it's only been within the last probably 4 years that I've truly begun that journey to come back to who I am. And that has been such an incredibly powerful journey as I've worked to dismantle so many of the belief systems that I'd been programmed with and began to really figure out who I am, what I want, what I desire, and then having the self-acceptance and the self-compassion so that I could then step into the self-leadership. Like it's been such an incredible journey. And so I love getting to help other women on that journey for themselves because it is truly transformational.
Yeah, I mean, wow. What a journey for you. What a journey. Any one of those aspects is huge. Just let's just take that small thing of the conditioning that, we're all born into wherever you are in the world, and especially the Western world. Well, which is the, the hemisphere that we're familiar with at least. So yeah, and let alone then, a fundamental religious cult and all the pressure that involves, the expectation, and if you combine that with, the conditioning of women, generally speaking, that is, don't challenge, don't rock the boat, and don't do things differently. Just, keep the peace, don't rock the
Yes.
boat. So
Yes.
there was one or two words I think that you omitted from your recognition of the journey that you've been on, and I would say they were bravery and courage, and a
Yes.
third word, vulnerability, because it takes huge courage and therefore vulnerability to be able to break a pattern, break a generational pattern, and to do things differently.
Yes.
So, congratulations. And on behalf of all the women that you help and are going on to help, thank you.
Thank you for seeing me.
Mm.
And thank you for having witnessed me and helped myself lead myself over the last couple of years. I found you and Soul Sanctuary, then Spiritual Club, when I was at a place of not having anybody to talk to. And I was just really starting to heal the spiritual part of my life.
Mm.
I was just beginning to dive into the divine feminine, but it was this big world that I had no idea about. I had no direction. I didn't know where to go or where to look. Um, I certainly had not been exposed to the spiritual laws or working with guides and angels and the ascended masters. Like all of that was completely foreign to me. And I like jumped into Spiritual Club, Soul Sanctuary, and it was like jumping into the deep end. It was just like all of a sudden I had all this knowledge at my fingertips. Like all I just had to do was ask a question. And the weekly meditations from the very first session were just mind blowing and helping me grow at like an exponential rate every single week when I showed up to do the meditations. And at first it was like, well, I struggle with my meditation practice, so at least I'll be getting it once a week at Spiritual Club, right?
Right.
But then I found myself wanting to do more and learning things like about the Atlantean wound that I had no idea about. I just thought Atlantis was a Marvel movie thing, I had no idea. And then as I've dove into everything, I'm like, oh, it's a real thing, and I have Atlantean wounds. And then seeing past lives of when I was there, like we've done quite a few regressions as a group and cord cutting. Oh my gosh, the cord cutting that you've done as a group. Like I experienced one of them solo, but then the rest of them have been part of the group. And it's just incredible that what we can work through in such a short period of time. And so it's like joining Soul Sanctuary, the spiritual club, um, really gave me that support and the framework to then continue on with my spiritual journey and to begin to learn about all the things and begin that deep healing process. And it has been exponential, like every week.
Mm.
Every week I'm working through something deeper and bigger, and it's just mind blowing.
Wow, thank you for sharing that aspect. So, just to clarify too for anybody watching, so my membership group that Joy is in and is talking about is now called Soul Sanctuary, but for a good few years it was called Spiritual Club, and it's only recently become Soul Sanctuary. So, I think we're sort of transitioning into the newest energy. And yeah, isn't it like, isn't it funny? Meditation, it comes up as a topic of conversation so frequently for so many of us, because we're human and because we all, every single one of us, me included, we all fall off the meditation wagon. And so many people come to Soul Sanctuary, I know, to get that meditation practice in. And genuinely, for some people, it is the only hour that they have to themselves for that space, to meditate. And I don't know about you, but in the beginning of my meditation practice, fairly early on, it was just this just feels better. This is why I meditate. It's about, you know, mindfulness and feeling calmer.
Yes.
But actually, what the meditation practice allows, and I know you and I have had a really similar experience with the meditation practices and the healing, is the the way that our subconscious and the way that we journey in the meditation practice, particularly with that group energy, right, um, facilitates this really beautiful, accessible, easily accessible um, subconscious space that is for some people full of visuals and images, for others more feelings or inner knowing, and for some, sounds, and for even one of our
Smells.
special members, smells, right?
Yes.
So yeah, I love how your description of that meditation practice of like I can get into a place of observing and being able to do the work. And
Yes.
of course, you still get to feel like peaceful and lighter and brighter and all that good stuff, right?
Yes. And it's built the resiliency in too. So
Mm,
often when I first started going on these big journeys, I would be absolutely exhausted when we were done because I was processing so much.
yeah.
And now it's like, oh, that was amazing. I feel good afterward, but it doesn't like take me out most of the time because I've built that resilience and able to hold those frequencies.
Yeah, I'm so glad that you brought resilience into the conversation, actually. And I just want to take a moment to give shout out to Anna as well, who's joined, and Claire, who's watching as well. So hi, ladies. Because I think, so many women come into Soul Sanctuary uh, full of love and compassion for everybody else but themselves.
Yes.
And so, and like so many women, and it was my journey, as you well know, and so many women in Soul Sanctuary, that we arrive in this spiritual awakened space, or this personal development and self-leadership kind of growth space, uh, defensive, and layers and layers and layers of armor, because that's what we've had to build in order to, frankly, to survive in many aspects. And I know, like myself, you came from the corporate space too,
Yes.
where I know that you learned to, you know, hold your space by creating those shields and those layers of armor. And I was very similar,
Oh, yes.
absolutely tapped into that masculine energy in order to survive and thrive in many aspects. And yet, what we learn, I think, through our practice, through our conversations in Soul Sanctuary, is the opening of heart energy, really connecting into that space and field of unconditional love, which holds us. And then after, I mean, it would be interesting to see how many kind of weeks or months you sense it took for you. And we have that kind of moment of, huh, when I'm open and connected to this wonderful, loving energy, I don't need any shields or armor.
It took me a long time to get there.
Yeah.
It's probably only been in the last year that I've really been able to allow myself to be in that space of unconditional love and truly dropping the armor.
Mm,
And I will still find myself places where I find myself putting that armor or that mask back on. It's
yeah.
definitely a journey. It's not a switch that gets flipped by any stretch of the imagination.
Right. Yeah.
um, but I think over this last year, I've been able to sink into that more authentic place of that unconditional love more frequently,
Mm,
on a mostly daily basis. Like that's been one of the big things that's come out of 2024 for me.
wow. Wow. Wow, I mean, that's huge. And what would you say that has now enabled you to do or say or whatever? What's it brought forward for you?
Everything, to be cheeky. Uh,
So nothing big. Okay,
no,
cool.
no. I have so much more confidence in myself because what people outside of me think or say doesn't seem to matter as much. So it's a lot more of that internally self validation. Um,
Mm,
Actually, I'm working on a post right now for the next couple of days that talking about how the difference in the validation when we don't need it versus when we feel that we need it. And it's been such a huge shift for me.
yeah.
Um, so probably that confidence would be a big part of it. And just feeling solid and supported in who I am and my place in the universe, in that place of oneness. That's been a big part of the priestess training and priestess club has been finding that level of support with goddess Isis and the other priestesses
Yeah.
to feel to really truly feel that unconditional love. I don't think it was truly until priestess training that I was able to fully receive that unconditional love and just even truly grasp what it meant.
Right, right. And it's such a powerful point. I know, like myself and other women in Soul Sanctuary and in Goddess Isis Priestess training and membership, like many of us have found ourselves on this spiritual path because we didn't fully know or experience unconditional love. And more to the point, we didn't realize that we hadn't
Yes.
experienced unconditional love. And so it is this, delayering and peeling back the layers and putting this shield down and that sword down and taking that armor off like repeatedly
Yes.
over, as you say, weeks and months, years sometimes. And then we're able to kind of go, oh, that's what unconditional love is. Oh, that's what it
Yes.
feels like. And I mean, it's literally like, it's like movie Christmas magic, isn't it?
Yes. Ah, that's what it feels like. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Yeah, beautiful. And it is, I've always, and especially well, I've always said like, I really love my job. I love my job. And how often do I say it in group? I love my job. And it is because of stories like yours, because, being able to hold space and witness and observe somebody go on a journey from, love and compassion to deep self-love and compassion through feeling unconditional love for the first time is, I mean, that for me is what a miracle is. That's
Yeah,
miraculous. Yeah.
I would
And
agree.
yeah.
Because when I
Oh,
think back to even 2 years ago when I first met you, um,
yeah.
when I got to, walk by Frensham Ponds with you, I was in a place of just scared of how you might react or to me or anything I might say. Because we'd only talked really online a couple of times, and maybe a networking event. Um, but I was in this foreign country. I was scared of my own shadow. I was just trying to put on that brave mask and be the leader, networker that I was supposed to be. And now, like, I can't imagine being in that place because I've come so far just in the last 2 years.
Yeah.
Now I meet people and I'm just, for the most part, me, and they can take it or leave it. However they decide to react or feel, that's on them. And if you had told me that I would be in this place, I would have fallen over laughing because I just did not think it was possible.
Right. And, 2 years ago, maybe even a year ago, um, sometime, for everybody on their journey, and of course, everybody's is unique and has its own pace and flavor, but it can feel like standing at the bottom of Mount Everest with a pair of flip-flops.
Yes.
And sometimes you can't even see the top of the mountain, let alone envisage being able to get there. But,
Yes.
what I've loved so much about working with you has been your ability to show up for yourself every week, no matter what the emotion or stories that we all tell ourselves. You've always shown up for yourself every week. And you've done the work, when I've made, a or shared an invitation or encouraged you to explore something on your own. In fact, do you remember the first time I was like, oh yeah, you can go and journey with Goddess Isis. Go find that Atlantean wound. You'll be able to clear it. And you were looking at me like, huh?
I remember.
And what happened? Like the
I
following
did it.
week. Right?
I did it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it is, I think, and it's one of the things that I love about the work that you do is helping those women switch on to what they're already capable of doing. They just don't know yet because
Right.
nobody's given them permission. Nobody's said, and I think there you are, just week on week, you've just grown into the most beautiful, powerful, incredible leader, leader of self, and I know that you are just going to go on to lead and become such a beacon of light for others. And yeah, the ripple effect that I think you can share with the world is beyond anything that we can fathom, I'm sure.
I'm super excited. One of the phrases that I repeat often is that you're already perfect. You've just had a lifetime of being told otherwise.
Right?
And that's what
Yeah.
I love helping my clients to see and to
Yeah.
feel.
Yeah. That moment of I remember one of our fellow priestesses, Estella, right at the beginning of her journey. I was saying to her, darling, you are the universe. You are the universe. And she was just looking at me like, huh? And I remember feeling that,
I
when
do
I was
too.
receiving guidance, right? And the
Yes.
teachers that I was working with, like, you are the universe. Like,
What?
but
Universe
when
is
we,
out there. I'm down here. What do you mean?
right, exactly. Yeah, the universe is outside of me and it's massive. I'm just like teeny tiny little human,
Mhm.
which is true. We are teeny tiny little humans, but
Yes.
we are also souls and spirits and uh, part of that universe. And, it's probably, I don't know if you'd agree or not. For me, it was probably the most powerful embodied learning to realize without arrogance and with humility that I am, as well as every other living being on the planet, a unique expression of the universe.
Yes.
And when I
And that's
embody, go on,
that's
you go.
one reason I love human design so much is it helps you to understand how you are designed and your little piece of the puzzle, but also see how that interacts and fits with the bigger puzzle and how your energy works with other people. And that's one of the things that was so mind blowing for me when I first found it and started really learning about my design. I was
Yeah.
like, oh, that's why I'm so other centered, is because I'm a projector and I help to see between the lines, and my whole energy is geared toward um, seeing you directly and like blowing up things on a screen for you to be able to see the way that I can see. Like it's not the same as everybody else. Whereas like a generator is here to do and build and to support and but my energy doesn't work like theirs. And so it's been so huge for me to see how I can fit in the big puzzle. But yes, even just down to I am one with the plants. Like I now get to look at my plants in my garden as my coworkers and my friends. Like it's just so cool.
So cool. So cool. That connection, yeah, right. It will never cease to make me smile
Yeah.
in that connected state. So, my darling, if people want to work with you, how can they find you and what can they get from you?
Ooh, that's a big question. So you can find me on all the channels on Radical Joyfulness. So Instagram, Facebook, and my website,
Mhm.
radicaljoyfulness.com. And from there, I offer card readings. We can do anything from like a self-love, self-care card reading, which you get this beautiful PDF that's got a summary of everything we talked about and journal prompts to help you like take it even further. And also, I will say card readings with me are not just a card reading. It's not just me giving you the information. I actively ask you questions. We talk about what's coming up and we talk about programming. We talk about what are the habits. It's truly a hybrid between a coaching session and a card reading. So I've just kind of put them together because
Beautiful.
it's so powerful. So we can do self-love, self-care, or we can do like a what I call work your light reading, where we take a look at what your head, heart, and body need to know about the situation. And then I use other decks like my Divine Feminine deck to like, what's that Divine Feminine that's coming in to support you and how can you work with her through this situation? And so like we go really in depth. It's a lot of fun. And then I have my intuitive mentoring sessions where we can either bring human design in or not. That's totally your choice. I love the human design system because it easily helps you to strip away that conditioning, but it's also a lot of shadow work. So if you're just wanting to talk through a situation, we can just do it as straight intuitive, or we can bring your human design in. So it's whatever works best for you. And then I am also offering distance Reiki sessions where
Wow.
I work with, all you have to do is just sit there on your side of the connection, and I work with the Reiki energy. I pull in crystals, I'll pull in some sound frequencies that work even though you can't hear them. And then afterward, we hop on a quick integration to kind of talk through anything that I felt, anything you felt, and like next steps. So that's kind of where I'm at currently.
Wow. And that, yeah, I mean, that truly is, sort of three different gateway points into creating or experiencing radical joyfulness. I
Yeah.
love it. I just love it. And I know that there are lots of members in my membership who have experienced card readings with you and have loved them and taken a lot of value from them. And I know, through my own observations, but also my intuitive senses, that your ability to understand the human design concept and apply it to your client is your zone of genius. And I would absolutely encourage people, women watching this, to explore that with you. Without a doubt, it will open up so much for them.
Yeah.
So thank you. And I know after this, you'll share some links in the
Yeah.
comments below so people can connect with you, contact you, and start to explore themselves. And of course, I will be sharing links to Soul Sanctuary, where, if any part of Joy's story is resonating, it's not an overnight thing. This is not a quick fix. This is not hitch up for a month and then go, I don't feel any better. This is your life, and it takes time investment, energy investment, and I would definitely say be like Joy and love yourself enough to invest in yourself and show up for yourself. Um, and you can do that. I've got 3 Black Friday offers on at the moment. So you can buy a 3-month membership for Soul Sanctuary at the current price of £50 a month. So it'd be £150, and you get an annual subscription to Nature's Wisdom, which is all of the spiritual coaching and guidance and a ton of journal prompts, which, I know you, Joy, have had a lot of benefit from.
Yes, every week is just incredible. And it's
Right.
always so on point with what I'm going through.
It's right. It's all I love how nature, whenever I'm looking to publish it, nature just goes this one or here's a message, and always powerful. And the cord cutting that you mentioned, that's also on offer for Black Friday, where you get my on-demand service free.
Nice.
And then,
Super
yeah,
powerful.
super powerful. And if you want to go deep, and kind of fast track your experience through Soul Sanctuary, then I have one-to-one packages on Black Friday offer as well. So I'll put links to all of that in the comments below. There's some really awesome comments coming in actually from Anna, who says, highly recommend Joy. She's brilliant. She's a brilliant coach, healer, and intuitive. Um,
Thank you.
Jennifer says, conditional love is a total wrecking ball.
It is.
Both of you, Jen and Joy, bleed unconditional love. Oh, this is like miracle grow to people like me. People seeking guidance back to our soul purpose from the wrong paths we were initially pushed down, right?
Yes.
And not shown that there was another way. And whatever that way is for you is perfect.
Yes.
Um, Wonderful. So thank you for watching, everybody. Thank you for your comments. Thank you, Joy, for being so brave and so committed to yourself and your path and what you're here to create and transform. You are magical, and it is my absolute privilege to get to work with you. So thank you.
Thank you. It is my absolute honor and privilege to get to work with you.
Um,
I don't know that I would have been anywhere near where I'm at or had the journey that I've had without your support and unconditional love. So thank you.
you're welcome. You're welcome. Thank you. Yeah, it is. I love my job.
Me too.
I love my job. All right, my darling. Thank you so much. And if you're watching this on replay, please do put a hashtag replay. And yeah, I look forward to hosting more of my amazing clients in this space over the coming weeks. All right, everybody. Lots of love.
Bye.